Okay, hi, I'm Sandy Carter. I'm IBM's General Manager of Ecosystem Development and a Social Business Evangelist. And today we're going to be talking to a friend and colleague of mine, Janet Powers. She is also the CEO of the Women's Toolbox. Now, this is really exciting because Janet recently held her company's huge conference, which emphasized a couple of major things that we both really agree upon: social, women's leadership, and entrepreneurship. So I'm extremely pleased to have Janet with us today. Welcome, Janet, and I'm thrilled to have you on my Social Business Coffee Break. So let's get started with a couple of questions. The Women's Toolbox was named by More.com as one of the best websites for women's entrepreneurs. Congratulations. Why is it such a great place for small and medium business and entrepreneurial leaders?
Well, you know, the Women's Toolbox, we were social long before that was the sexy thing to do. We built community before that was the thing that people wanted to do. What we've done is build a community of women in business that can share practical advice, much like you would across the kitchen table. So as a portal for information for all women in business, they can go to one place and find the experts they need to succeed.
So that's super, Janet. Thank you. And some of those experts you connect women with are experts from the IBM Global Entrepreneur Program and the IBM Innovation Centers. How has working with those resources helped your small and mid-sized business leaders and entrepreneurs?
Much like the Women's Toolbox, the Innovation Center and the Global Entrepreneur Program provide educational and informational services for the women in business to find things faster, better, and most times cheaper. You know, women often, as they're running their own business, they're doing it all by themselves. And that's a disaster. You need to reach out and find the resources you need. And I find the IBM sites both to have educational material that I can learn from, as well as resources that I can use for my own business, like a mobile app.
Now, speaking of finding the right resources, social, as you know, is one of the most important resources for businesses today. How has the Women's Toolbox encouraged small businesses and entrepreneurs to really utilize social in their startups and in growing their businesses?
You know, once again, Sandy, it's a great question because we were social before it was the thing to do. I think women, obviously, we all know this, are more social in general, and this is a great tool, whether it be the Women's Toolbox or the Innovation Center websites, to start to share their practical advice, but to learn from others. You know, I often talk about women don't take the first piece of pizza. They're afraid to necessarily share their expertise. In a place like the Women's Toolbox, it's a very comfortable setting that everyone is equal. We use blogs, we use idea sections, where they can both share their information and get information from other people. So it's equal, and I think that's what makes it social and successful.
So Janet, I totally agree with you. It is crucial for people to share information and expertise and learn from each other, especially when trying to start their own businesses. I think you told me once, you know, startups fail within their first few years of existence, so entrepreneurs really need to leverage all the tools that they can. So how can entrepreneurs use social to really get their companies off the ground?
Oh, Sandy, boy, do I know about that first couple of years. You know, using social to get a company off the ground and to really establish a presence going forward is the easiest thing for an entrepreneur to do. Many of them are bootstrapping their own business, and social is free for the most part. And you can build your brand globally from the second bedroom in your home, where most entrepreneurs are running their office. Women leveraging social to build their business gives them a bigger pool of resources, of vendors, of partners, and of potential clients. All they have to do is be willing to get out there and say something. Share their expertise or ask a question. Sometimes I find clients, by simply asking a question, a vendor answers the question and I end up with a new client too because they need what I have. It's very collaborative, and that's how it works.
So Janet, you know that I am a huge proponent of empowering women in the workforce, and that's one reason why it's really tough to see stats like the ones in McKinsey's most recent survey of 60 major corporations, which really showed that the percentage of women falls off dramatically in the higher ranks of organizations. Women make up 53% of entry-level employees, but only 19% of C-suite executives. Now, what do you think? What do you make of that, and what can we do as women leaders?
You know, I've been there, I did that. I was in corporate America, I was a vice president running a large organization. I was knocking on that glass ceiling. And I know now better than I knew before that the best path to getting through that glass ceiling, for opening up that door, is being able to establish yourself as a thought leader. And career women can do that by using social to build their own expertise online. They start to share what they know with their industry, and they become that thought leader. So much like an entrepreneur, as women in business, whether they are in a career or owning their own business, by using social to share their expertise and build that thought leadership, they're going to succeed, and they're going to have a faster track to getting through that glass ceiling.
So Janet, that's some great and practical advice for women and how they can build their personal brand and expertise through social. So let's go ahead and wrap up with kind of a personal note. In your own experience, what is the best piece of advice for women who are trying to grow their careers, whether in a large company or by starting their own business?
You know, my best advice for a career woman trying to move up in their career or starting her own business is do what I do. Every morning I get up and I believe more than I fear. Whether you're a career woman or an entrepreneur, being able to stand up and say, this is what I know and this is what I'm an expert in, these are my ideas that I can share with someone, is huge. And I think many of us take a step back and we're afraid to maybe sit at that table or stand up before a crowd and say, this is what I know, because we're afraid maybe someone won't accept our ideas or won't think that what we have to say is right or smart. But you know what? The truth is, all we have to do is get out and share our expertise. I feel very strongly about this, again, whether you're a career woman or an entrepreneur. It's okay to share your expertise. You may not always have the same opinion as someone sitting next to you, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. And I think if you believe in yourself more than you fear what someone else thinks of you, you will be successful.
Janet, thank you so much for participating in this week's Social Business Coffee Break. It's always a pleasure to see you and to hear your great advice. For everyone else, thank you for watching. This has been our Social Business Coffee Break.